Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Course Studio. Welcome to the show. So if you haven't seen the June 2023 quarterly update that was released recently from the Commander Rules Committee, make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below in case you want to read the entire thing. That being said, most was pretty straightforward. Most was just, business as usual. The cards, there were no bans, no changes on that. The rules, they kind of just addressed the ring tempts you and how that mechanic actually kind of just worked within the rules text as it is, and we're fine with that. General commentary, though, this is where things get interesting, and this is where I did not expect really kind of, let's just jump into it. We've been following the community's discussions and concerns surrounding Orcish Bowmasters and, to a lesser extent, Mirkwood bats. The help of the Commander Advisor Group will be observing how and if those discussions change over time, so you'll play and play against those cards. Okay, I personally didn't think that there was any cards in Lord of the Rings that were anywhere near ban-worthy, but apparently some in the community are discussing the cards, especially Orcish Bowmasters, and how it's problematic. Okay, let's just jump into it and let's talk about those cards and talk about why they might be considered problematic, and maybe some comparable cards and why I don't think that they're problematic, and I don't think they're even worth discussing. I mean, when it comes to actually, a card that could be banned, they're not worth saying, let's throw that on the list, because there's other cards out there that, well, if these are banned, then those definitely should be. Let's jump into it. So first up, let's tackle the one that is driving more discussion, and that one is Orcish Bowmasters, a 1/1 Orc Archer with Flash for 2 mana in total in black. When it enters the battlefield, and whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmasters deal 1 damage to any target, then amass Orcs 1. Okay, so let's break this card down. I mean, at this point, it is around a $30 card. The set hasn't actually come out yet, but that price is pretty high at this point. Essentially, why would this card be problematic? Well, there are certain kinds of effects and there are certain kinds of cards out there that can force opponents to draw a lot of cards very quickly. Obviously, the ETB isn't all that impactful, right? Just a single damage to any target, amass Orcs 1. Amassing again is you basically just make an Orc Army token and it gets a counter on it. And then every single time you amass Orcs 1 again, you just keep getting more and more counters on that token. So you're going tall rather than wide. Regardless, if you force your opponents to draw a good amount of cards, you can pinpoint a good amount of damage to targets. Let's say that you, wheel. Yeah, wheels are why this card could be considered or seen as problematic. Some players don't like wheels, and this is a card that works very well with them. That being said, there's a lot of other cards out there that work incredibly well with wheels. And actually, this one's like a bit more pinpointy, I guess. But hey, there's other cards that do this, but basically better in other ways too. So if you force everyone to draw, say, 7 cards, you can pinpoint, 21 points of damage, essentially. So there's cards out there like, Magus of the Wheel. Or Wheel of Fortune if you've got, $150 or whatever it is to throw at that. Regardless, a much more budget-friendly version. Pay 1 to red tap, sacrifice it. Each player discards their hand and draws 7 cards. So again, sure. If you say, hey, have wheels around this effect, you can, okay, everyone discards their hand, draw 7, cool. Oh, your opponents, it's not the first one during your turn, so there you go. You are going to now take, a lot of damage. Well, and again, that's the thing. You can pinpoint the damage. You can take one player out, essentially. You can say, this player is the one that I'm going to target with all this damage. It's not, for each card that each player drew, they take that much damage. No, it's not 7 damage for each. This is more targeted. This is more pinpoint. This is more like, no, that one player is ahead, so we're going to be taking them down quite a few notches. Again, you can just deal all that 21 damage, whatever it is, to that player's face, essentially. Or if you want to take out all their creatures, you can do that too. Maybe not all of them, but, 21 worth of damage, of creature damage that you can just take out. Planeswalkers as well, battles as well, I guess, too. And, of course, you amassed a giant army of orcs. It's still just a singular creature token, though, at that point, and it's just a large one. If it's bounced away, it's gone. Again, that's not the problematic part of it, I guess. If you were to say that one part is problematic, it's that damage, in that you can pinpoint the damage versus it being spread out. Again, other popular ones like, Windfall, of course, another wheel type effect that sees a lot of play. Player discards their hand, then draws cards equally gray. Some more cards a player discard this way. This one can be even bigger than Magus of the Wheel, essentially. Instead of it being 7 cards, if one player is like 10 cards, cool. everyone's drawing 10, even more damage for you to dish out with your Orcish Bowmasters. And yeah, I guess the thing is you have to be obviously within the colors to be doing this. Red has wheels, blue has wheels. There really aren't too many wheels in other colors. I mean, if you are just in mono black, you know, with Orcish Bowmasters, sure, you can dark deal. Not really too many excess ways of doing that. Yeah, the Teferi's puzzle box, that kind of stuff too, that can work as well. Regardless, this one is slightly worse. Each player discards all the cards in their hand and draws that many -1. So this one only affects how many cards each player has in their hand, gives them back slightly less. Like I've said before, though, there are other effects that are like this new card that just do it a different way. And I think maybe the problem that people have with this one is that this can be more targeted. It can be seen as, you know, quote unquote mean, that you can, you know, take one player out with it instead of, you know, spreading that damage around. This is basically like, you know, Underworld Dreams kind of is a similar effect to this one. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. To my knowledge, this card has never been seen as problematic. And this one, again, this one shares that damage around, though. Again, if you wheel, everyone draws, say, 7, everyone's taking 7. All your opponents are taking 7, versus you singling one player out potentially and saying 21 damage to you. Underworld Dreams, I mean, Shieldred does this and then some. I mean, just, you know, 2 life for each opponent, you know, drawing a card, essentially. That one, obviously, is even more impactful. I mean, I don't know. I personally don't. I didn't think anything would be listed, you know, as problematic. I don't see Orcish Bowmasters as a problematic card at all. Yeah, I mean, it's powerful with a certain type of effect. It's powerful with wheel type effects. There are other cards that are as well. And again, I mean, the rules committee, at least one member of the rules committee a while ago did mention, you know, like, oh, wheels are problematic, we're considering looking at them. Yeah, they're not going to ban every single wheel. And because of that, yeah, you're not just going to ban all the pieces that work well with wheels, because there's too many pieces that work well with wheels too. So I don't see this card as problematic. There's other powerful things that you can do with wheels too. Yeah, I mean, it's a powerful card, sure. But is it a broken card? Absolutely not. Next up, even less broken, in my opinion, is Mirkwood Bats. Less problematic too, and I believe, again, the discourse around this one, the community discussions around this one are less, you know, than Orcish Bowmasters. They're not as concerned about this one. That being said, some people still are. A 2/3 flying bat for 4 mana in total. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, you don't lose 1 life. Players are concerned about mostly a certain kind of token they'll talk about here in a bit. But yeah, there are certain tokens that you can just make and sacrifice right away, so they'll be draining each opponent for 2 for every single one of those tokens. That being said, there's other draining effects that, again, are even quicker than this. This one also costs 4 mana. This one doesn't, you know, it doesn't compete with certain other ones when it comes to certain types of strategies. I mean, let's just talk about it. I mean, it's quite obvious that the reason that some players are concerned is because of treasures. I mean, a card like Dockside Extortionist, which, this is the thing. If Dockside Extortionist is not banned, then neither of these 2 cards should even be in discussion for being banned, because they are nowhere near the level of Dockside Extortionist, which, in all honesty, again, should be the next card on the chopping block before probably any other card when it comes to being banned. It's a 1/2 Goblin Pirate, enters the battlefield, you get X treasure tokens or X the number of artifacts and change your opponent's control. This only costs 2 mana. It's absurdly powerful, so low to the ground, so many broken things that you can do with it. Counting every single one of your opponent's artifacts and enchantments, and you just make a ton of treasures, get way ahead of your opponents, and you can win from there very easily. And yeah, treasures are the main concern, I am sure, with the Mirkwood Bats, where, hey, you make treasures, you sacrifice those, you drain your opponents. Again, if Dockside Extortionist comes into play and you make 20 treasures, cool, you took your opponents out with Mirkwood Bats. Wow. I mean, there's plenty of other ways you can take your opponents out, though. But still, I mean, Smothering Tide, there's plenty of other ways to make treasures. Wizards kind of went way too far, making too many things that made too many treasures, too efficient at doing so. Whenever opponent draws a card, they pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a treasure token. Basically, a great taxing effect that is really hard for your opponents to keep up with. And you're going to be getting an absurd amount of value out of this. Again, also works well with wheels. So there you go. But, hey, again, making treasures, sacrificing treasures, obviously also, I mean, creature tokens. There's plenty of, you know, fantastically powerful ways to make a lot of creature tokens as well. Avenger of Zendikar comes into play. You make a plant for each land you control, and also your lands can get bigger. That being said, in a Aristocrat style strategy, maybe you can get this out, get a ton of plants, sacrifice those, drain your opponents with the Mirkwood Bats as well. There's plenty of ways to make a lot of creature tokens. You can also sacrifice those, you know, drain your opponents, food tokens as well, clue tokens, any other kinds of tokens. Yeah, your opponents might be concerned about that. That being said, I mean, Blood Artist isn't banned, and that's better than this new card. A 0/1 Vampire for 2 mana. Whenever another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Yes, this is different in that it doesn't, you know, just count every single kind of token, right? It doesn't count treasure tokens, which I think is the main concern. That being said, this counts any kind of a creature. First up, not just token creatures, but also non-token creatures as well. On top of that, this counts all your opponent's tokens too, and all of their creatures too. I should say creature tokens, you know what I mean. Regardless, kind of like Orcish Bowmasters, this one is also targeted, but it is not banned, because this is saying, hey, again, doesn't matter whose creatures are dying, I can take a player out by targeting them specifically. If this isn't banned, or it's not even up for a ban discussion, why are the other two, really problematic in comparison to something like this even? I mean, okay, I guess more so like a Zulport Cutthroat is also a good comparison as Mirkwood Bats, where this one is draining all of your opponents at once. This one is, though, specifically for whenever it or other creature you control dies, whereas Blood Artist affects all creatures. That being said, again, this one counts all creatures, not just token creatures. There are, definitely more powerful plays you can do with this one than the Mirkwood Bats. There's more powerful Mirkwood Bats plays, again, when it comes to treasures, and I think that's really what players are mostly concerned about, is like, hey, treasures are powerful, sure, but when it comes to actually things getting banned, the Mirkwood Bats is definitely not going to be something that's ever anywhere near banned before Dockside Extortionist. If this one gets banned before Dockside Extortionist, that is just absolutely crazy. We're like, yeah, treasures are a problem, therefore we'll ban this thing that benefits you for playing treasures. Versus like, hey, the problematic thing that makes treasures. Maybe let's take that out first. So yeah, we shall see though. Yeah, Mirkwood Bats I don't think is anywhere near for discussion for an actual ban. I think that a lot of this is lip service. I mean, Orcish Bowmasters, maybe they're going to watch, but again, what are they going to do? If they ban this, then other players can complain about, well, this card's also very good with wheels. This card's also very good with wheels. Yeah, there's a lot of cards that are very, very, very good with wheels. So unless you're going to ban all the wheels, you're just going to have to accept all the cards that work well with them. Because, yeah, I mean, is this really better than Shieldred? Is this better than even Underworld Dreams? I mean, it sure, it gives you like a token as well. But yeah, I mean, other than being a targeted effect, Blood Artist does that too. So like, are you just going to ban all things that can be potentially considered quote unquote mean because you can target one player? I don't know. I don't see either of these being problematic. I think, again, it seems like a bunch of lip service for like, hey, we're looking at it, but it's going to be like, we're not really actually looking at it because it's not really a problem to begin with. So that's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts are on this in the comments below, though. I could be very wrong on this, so let me know what your thoughts are on it. And with that, this episode is coming to a close, so let me know your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.